Welcome to this session. In this session, we'll discuss planning the stakeholder engagement. So after that, we have covered planning communication management. Now it's the time to cover the planning stakeholder engagement as it's important as the communication management plan. In this session, we'll explore the key components of the stakeholder engagement plan, with its critical role on project success, and how it guides a proactive engagement with the stakeholders. An effective stakeholder engagement plan is not just a formal document, it is an essential tool for managing the stakeholder expectations and ensuring project alignment with the organizational objectives. But let's first understand what exactly a stakeholder engagement plan. The stakeholder engagement plan outlines how the stakeholder or group will be engaged throughout the project. This plan takes into account each stakeholder expectations, communication preferences, and impact on the project. Ensuring the right people receives the right information at the right time. It's a proactive approach to manage the relationships with the stakeholders and minimizes potential issues, also aligning their needs with the project goals. The main purpose and importance of the stakeholder engagement plan. So the purpose of a stakeholder engagement plan is to mitigate the risks related to the stakeholder misalignment. It fosters better communication and transparency, helping ensure that all of the stakeholders are aligned with the project goals. And without this plan, the project managers risks facing significant delays or resistance, as stakeholders may feel overlooked or uninformed. An effective stakeholder engagement plan fosters the strong collaborations, and ensuring that all of the stakeholders are at the same page. Let's see the key ITTOs involved when developing the stakeholder engagement plan or planning the stakeholder engagement process. So the key inputs, as known, is the project charter, which defines the project or the project objectives and the stakeholder impact requirements, the project management plan, the EFs, the OPAs. We have the tools and techniques, including the expert judgment, data gathering, data analysis, decision making, data presentation, and meetings. And the output would be here the stakeholder engagement plan. So several key inputs drive the development of the stakeholder engagement plan. So as we said, that the project charter sets the foundation by outlining the project objectives and roles and stakeholders will play in the project. Think of the stakeholder register when you have let's say assigned and found all of the stakeholders that is gonna be part of your project. So here where you identify who's the stakeholder who has a high impact, low impact on the project, which provides also a detailed information about each of the stakeholder interests and influence. So it's essential for identifying engagement strategies, to follow this stakeholder register to understand what type of stakeholders that you're dealing with. To focus again on the key types of stakeholders analysis when doing, let's say a stakeholder engagement plan, and to ensure an effective planning when developing this stakeholder engagement plan. So stakeholder analysis is crucial for determining how to engage different groups. By assessing their power and interest, you can prioritize the engagement strategies. For example, the stakeholders with a high power and high interest, such stakeholders should be managed closely, while those who is with low power and low interest may only need a periodic updates. So this classification helps you to tailor the communication and engagement strategies effectively. Here are the key types of stakeholders that when you're trying to engage with them, that you need to consider. So you have the high power, the high interest, we say that you need to manage closely. You have the high power, the low interest, you need to keep them satisfied. The low power and the high interest, you need to keep them informed. Then the low power and low interest, based on their impact on the project, you need to monitor them closely. Now let's look into the key components of the stakeholder engagement plan. Your stakeholder engagement plan should include several components to ensure um, through engagement. So first, identify each stakeholder's communication preferences to tailor your outreach. The first step. The next step that you need to follow is to develop an engagement strategies specific to each stakeholder needs and level of interest. After that, you need to assign the roles and responsibility for managing the interactions. Finally, you need to establish a method for tracking and adjusting the plan as per or as the project progress to ensure a continuous alignment. Here are the strategies to ensure a proactive stakeholder engagement. So, proactive engagement begins by identifying stakeholders early, which will allow you to address their concerns before they escalate into issues. Also, regular check-ins and feedback loops helps to ensure ongoing alignment with their expectations. Personalized engagement strategies are key to fostering long-term relationships, ensuring that the stakeholders feel valued and informed throughout the project lifecycle. Common challenges that you meet, uh, which you might, let's say, meet when dealing with the stakeholder engagement planning. So, while developing the stakeholder engagement plan, common challenges include the resistance from the stakeholders who feel left out of communications or conflicting interests between different stakeholders or different priorities, and inadequate resources dedicated to do the engagement activities. So, a dynamic stakeholder engagement plan should be updated regularly to update to or to adapt new stakeholder needs or project changes. Also, you need to ensure the alignment between the stakeholder engagement plan and with the project objectives. Maximize the success of your project. Your stakeholder engagement plan must align with the project objectives. So, when you ensure that the engagement plan reflects the project scope and schedule, you can make more informed decisions and foster this stakeholder buy in early in the process. And this alignment ensures a smooth project execution and stronger collaboration with the key stakeholders. Now, let's see some of these strategies and define the stakeholder engagement strategies. So, each stakeholder requires a specific engagement strategy. Depending on their influence and interests, strategies could range from simply just informing them, or consulting, or just even empowering them in decision making. So, as the project evolves, the engagement strategies may need also to be adjusted to reflect the changing dynamic and the stakeholder concerns. The approaches here, including the informing or consulting, involving, collaborating, and empowering. Here are the communication approaches for the stakeholder engagement to ensure an effective Stakeholder engagement. So, effective communication is critical to stakeholder engagement, as the stakeholder engagement plan defines how, when, and with what level of detail stakeholders should be informed. This could include regular status reports or meetings or informal workshops, depending on the stakeholder preferences. The key is to ensure that communication is clear, relevant, and frequent enough to keep the stakeholder engaged. So you need to keep ensuring or you need to ensure a tailoring communication methods for each of these stakeholder preferences or needs. Also, you need to define the frequency, the medium or the method of communicating and the level of detail in the communications. Let's say now, or let's see the roles and responsibilities for stakeholder engagement. So, clear roles and responsibilities must be defined for managing the stakeholder engagement. And this often involves assigning a specific a team member or stakeholder managers who are responsible for maintaining the communication and addressing the stakeholder concerns. A RASI chart or a RASI matrix, including let's say, the key four types, including the responsible or accountable or consulted or informed, helps clarifies who does what, ensuring the accountability and efficient communication. Now let's discuss the role of stakeholder engagement plan in managing a stakeholder expectation. The stakeholder engagement plan plays a crucial role in managing the stakeholder expectations. By actively engaging the stakeholders, understanding their needs, and clearly communicating the project goals, you ensure that their expectations are met. As the project progresses, it's essential to monitor and update the stakeholder engagement plan to ensure a continued alignment and address any shifts in stakeholder needs or interests or priorities. To summarize our session here on the stakeholder engagement, so we say that it's vital for managing the stakeholder relationships and ensuring the project success. By aligning it with the stakeholder register and the project objectives, addressing their needs proactively and regularly monitoring the engagement efforts, you create a roadmap for a collaborative and successful project. Remember, engagement is an ongoing process that evolves as the project progresses.